Welcome in, One Nation, to another episode of The Latest Buzz. I'm your host, TJ Wingert. Last week we mentioned while we were recording, both golf teams were hosting and competing in the Hill City Invitational. And what a couple of great days it was for the Hornets as the women's team won the Invitational and the men's team, with a strong day two, took home a third place finish. For the women, Emily Brubaker led the way, shooting a 78 on day one, then a 71 on Tuesday. Not far behind was Maddie Cody with a combined shot count at 163 to finish in third, with Emily Erickson sliding in at fourth, shooting a 78, then an 86. For the men, Eddie Kopp from the fifth paced the way for the Hornets with a two-day score at 145, good for seventh in the individual field. From there, Elijah Moore finished tied for ninth and Chase Petrie at 11th, and the cherry on top was having Brubaker and Coffrin named as the men's and women's golf athletes of the week for the ODAC. Transitioning to the tennis teams now, as the women's side remains unbeaten. The Hornets now sit at 9-0 on the year. While down at Hilton Head, South Carolina, Lynchburg garnered wins against Concordia, Wisconsin 6-3, Milliken 5-4, Carroll, Wisconsin 6-3, and then Greenville 8-1. And for the men, it was a 1-3 week through the four matches, with the win coming against Carroll 5-4. Looking ahead, Lynchburg has the women's side playing host to Sweetbriar tomorrow afternoon. Then the men will hit the road to take on Mary Baldwin on Friday. Baseball this week moved up to number 6 in the country, the new program best, and the week started with a clash on Tuesday against Greensboro. Pride would ride big 5th and 7th innings to an 8-7 win, but the Hornets would rebound on Saturday with the team's third consecutive doubleheader sweep against Washington and Lee. The pitching was stellar as the starter in Game 1, Zach Potts, travels through 8 innings with 8 strikeouts, allowing just 1 earned run along the way, and Nick Matfield tosses 5 scoreless frames in Game 2. And we have to mention PJ Alvanos tallying 5 RBIs through the 2 games, and Cam Lane goes 6 for 8 with 5 ribbies as well. Meanwhile, softball's been playing through a gauntlet of a schedule, taking on number 4 CNU for a doubleheader, number 2 Salisbury for a twin bill, then on Saturday a doubleheader against Susquehanna and Marymount. Lynchburg would drop all 6 games, but playing on the road against this type of competition is something that allows the team to grow and find some potential areas of improvement, which you can see those tweaks in where the Lynchburg Hornets might have improved and how they respond this upcoming weekend as Lynchburg travels to EMU for 2 games on Saturday before returning home for a pair against Bridgewater on Sunday. This week was also the ECAC Single Discipline South Regional Semifinals, which saw number 2 Lynchburg take on number 3 Swanee and number 4 Bridgewater. It was a close 5-3 loss for Lynchburg on Friday, avenged by a 5-3 win over Bridgewater on Saturday. And now we wait for the official rankings to be released on Tuesday, as the top 4 seeds will advance to nationals, which start on April 14th. Men's lacrosse had a pair of high-profile games this weekend, first against number 18 Denison, followed up by number 4 CNU. Hornets trailed the Big Red by a pair of goals to start the fourth quarter, but a 5-0 run to open up the final stanza, powered by 2 goals from Kyle Lewis, in addition to Dylan Wolf, Brett Rogers, and Jake Russ with a goal each. Lynchburg had their first second-half lead and staved off a pair of late scores from Denison to pick up a 13-12 win. A day later, the focus turned to the captains of Christopher Newport, and Lynchburg fell behind early on and found themselves down 10-3 at the end of the first half. Hornets would win the third and fourth quarter, but the comeback bid would fall short, and CNU prevailed to a 17-13 victory. Women's lacrosse squad also had a couple of big games while playing down in Haines City, Florida, taking on 2 top 25 squads. Lynchburg took on number 19 Denison on Monday, and the Hornets stayed with the Big Red the whole way through. Lynchburg did not lose a quarter by more than 2 scores and only trailed by 1 at halftime. Denison would find a little bit more separation in the second half and escape Lynchburg's upset bid with a 13-9 win. Next up for Lynchburg was number 6 Franklin and Marshall on Wednesday night. The Diplomats, aided by a big second and third quarter, ultimately did top the Hornets 19-3. Track and field opened the outdoor season this weekend at Myrtle Beach. How jealous am I? And it opened with a bang. Alex Shadku took down a program record of the 100-meter, which had stood since 1999. Shadku crossed the line in 10.59 seconds, which also translates to the second best time in all of Division III. Malik Harvey finished 8th in the 110 hurdles, and Michael Ruff finished 12th in the discus. While Lizzie Davis, Allison Bobs, Jonathan Cobb, Elle Benefield, Marquez Wilson, and Bailey Casto all picked up top 10 finishes in their respective events. And if you want to see this team in action, the Dr. Jack M. Toms Alumni Invitational is this Friday and Saturday right here in Lynchburg, Virginia. That'll bring a close to this episode of The Latest Buzz. Be sure to head to lynchburgsports.com for more of the latest news, results, and stories revolving around Lynchburg athletics.